I think we're at that point where I'm learning more from them than they're learning from me.
Obviously you have three beautiful kids. What would you say is the most humbling part about being a dad?
I think they just continue to teach you things that I think as a parent, you want to try to expose your children to different things so that they can find a path that they really love. And I think part of doing it is, not necessarily saying, all right, these are the things that I'm interested in, these are the things you should be interested. I think it's more like, what are the things you're interested in, and trying to support and facilitate those things. So, I think that's probably the thing, is trying things that, you've never been accustomed to. My son loves music and he loves performance. And, in a way, I've loved those things. I just haven't necessarily taken a big part of those things. My daughter loves riding and horses, and just going to see the joy that these kids have is the best thing for a parent. So not that I'd necessarily do those things, but also just to watch them do it, is a very joyful thing, and also something that I'm glad they like to do, because I always tell them, guys, I don't have a lot of instruction for these things. So I'm learning right along with you guys, and I'm going to do my best to try to listen and take all this information in, and so you guys can apply it. But we all have, a little bit different interests. So everyone's got to kind of go with the flow, and, we're doing different family things. There's not a ton of things that we can all do at one time that everyone's loving together. Maybe watching movies and playing games and stuff like that. But everyone's got a little bit different interests, which is good for all of us.
Yeah. You said that your kids are constantly teaching you lessons. What is the latest lesson that they have taught you?
I think for me, it's so much as just about, how you're just dealing with their growing up and their emotions and your emotions. And, it's just a constant, part of the day, in communication and asking questions and learning about how they're doing. And so you can do your best to support them too. So I think we're all, we should all just sit back and watch and observe and listen to our children,
Right.
and do less trying to, we all love to be a little more childlike, just because I think they're free of expectation, or they're free of what our perceived responsibilities are. And I think they live life in a very childlike way, and they find a lot of joy, and they're very relaxed. And I think as we become adults, a lot of those things kind of go different ways for different reasons. And I think for us, just to reconnect with our kids, which allows us to be a little more childlike, which is a little more fun and a little more joyful. And again, not taking ourselves too seriously. So we're at that point where we're, I'm learning more from them than they're learning from me.
Right. And, because they're at the age now where, you're forming this almost friendship with them as well, too, I would imagine. Like you said, football goes by in a blink of an eye, and I'm sure parenthood as well. Do you find yourself sometimes getting emotional, being like, I can't believe that they're getting so old?
Totally. I mean, this morning, I have this wall in my house where I always mark off how tall they are on the different dates. And literally in the last 2 months, each of them have grown 2 inches.
Wow.
So it's just when you see that stuff, because in your mind, you're with them all the time, you don't see much. And all of a sudden you're like, all right, let me check this out. Because I thought they had a little growth spurt. So I measured them. I was like, holy. And, it's just amazing, that they're growing right before your eyes. And even though, because you're so focused on a daily basis, you don't necessarily see this incremental growth. But when you look back, you go, wow, this is incredible. This is their last day of school today. And you're excited for them, that they're continuing to kind of move on their journey. And you're watching them grow, literally, physically, mentally, emotionally. They're growing in different areas. And I think the greatest gift for a parent is just to be able to observe it, and not to put any expectation or judgment on it, and just to try to grow with them, because they're just, for all parents, I'm sure they feel like, children are the best parts of our life. They bring us so much. They teach us so much. And, to be my kids' parents is a blessing for me.